Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. If you've never tuned in to JW Live, welcome. I got my coffee. Let's go. Now, Jordan, LeBron. So today, it's going to be a little different. I'm going to bring you something a little different today. And we are going to talk some sports. I was an avid NBA, sports fan for years. I've watched basketball. I play a little basketball. Some might say not on a high level. I mean, I was never some high school or college basketball star, but I dibbled and dabbled in the game a little bit, and developed a little jump shot. So I'd like to speak on today about the debate between LeBron and Jordan. Now, which means that today, for the most part, it's going to be all opinionated. For the people that say that LeBron's the GOAT, and for the people that say that Jordan's the GOAT, I'm not here to try and change anybody's mind. What I do know is that for the most part, for most people, once their mind is made up, you're not changing their minds. I don't care, if they see it right in front of their faces. When people's minds are made up, people just have a viewpoint, a perception, and an opinion, and it's strong based on what they believe or not believe. So I'm not here to change anybody's mind. I'm just here to share my opinion based on the Jordan-LeBron debate. Now, let me say this. Each man in his respective eras are the best players. Michael Jordan, in my opinion, was the best player. LeBron in his era is the best player. And in my humble opinion, I believe that, well, let me just say this. First of all, I hate the fact that people place these brothers against each other when it comes to their greatness and solely focus on their likeness as opposed to what they bring to the table or how good they really are as players. For me personally, I'm just grateful and blessed that I got a chance to see Jordan, and I've seen LeBron, I've seen Kobe. I've lived long enough to watch these players, and even some of the other greats like Magic, Bird, Worthy, Isaiah. There's a long list of great players. Julius Erving, Dr. J, Allen Iverson, The Answer. I'm just glad, and so for the people that are watching that are going to say, well, why didn't you mention so-and-so? I just mentioned a few players that I remember. There's a whole list of players that can be on the list when it comes to greatness. But I want to specifically speak on LeBron versus Jordan, because I'm hearing it and I see it on social media sites. I see it in the media. I see it on TV. I see it everywhere. Now, honestly, because I hear also, let me not leave out Kareem. A lot of people say that Kareem is a GOAT. So my GOAT debate isn't necessarily going to be based on numbers. I just think that numbers equal money. And when you think about, money, you need numbers to back up whatever it is that you do to manipulate the corporate America, or dealing with people, owners, organizations. Numbers just equate to money, in my opinion. So my debate isn't necessarily going to solely focus on money. My debate is based on, really, for the most part, athleticism and contribution to the game, not numbers. Because we all know that LeBron has played well over, probably, I'm one of those people, I kind of like to see a player go out on a winning streak, with their retirement, and that's any type of retirement. Even if you retired from a regular job, it'd be best that you were able to retire when you're still active. That way you can literally enjoy your retirement, not going out, not you've worked so many years and you've worked so long that you can hardly walk, or you can hardly tie your shoes or get out of the bed in the morning. That's not joyful retirement. And I'm talking about just regular everyday working people. When I see people retire from their careers and they're able to still travel, they're still able to enjoy festivals and go places and do things, go on cruises, I think that that's like, going off into the sunset, when you're able to still enjoy, if you have a wife or if you have a husband, when you're still able to enjoy your latter years being active. Not that you've worked so long that you can no longer, function. You're in a hospital bed, or, they're making arrangements for your funeral, or, that's just my opinion. Now, again, back to the Michael Jordan, LeBron debate. So my thing is this: both players are great. Both players, Michael Jordan was great. LeBron is great. A lot of times people, don't mention Kobe in the argument. Personally, and this is just my personal opinion, again, personally, I think it's LeBron. I'm sorry. I'm having a little brain. Let me just drink a little bit more of my coffee to get my mind right. Personally, I think it goes Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, based on entertainment, athleticism, contribution. It's my opinion. And I know when I mention the word contribution, people are going to go back to numbers again. And I'm not basing this off of numbers. Now, in my opinion, Jordan is the most entertaining. The lion that's in him, the beast that was in him, the desire to win that he had within him. In my years of watching basketball, personally, I have never witnessed anything like it. Anything. He could not win a championship by himself. Of course not. Of course, he needed some help. Of course, he needed Scottie Pippen. He needed those players, Bill Cartwright. He needed those players around him. Paxton. He needed certain players in place. But on a personal level, the desire to win, the heart to win, the beast that was within him, the nastiness it took. See, let me explain something to you. When you're nasty at your craft and you're able to still make it look smooth, you're a bad man. You're bad. That in itself is a gift. To be that nasty and still make it look smooth. This guy in his heart, he had a desire to destroy people on whatever game night it was. You are not my friend. I don't care if we played golf the day before, if we slept in the same hotel, if I've known you from grade school. Man, when that clock ticks and it's time to play ball, you are not my friend. You are my enemy. And my job is to destroy you. Now, again, I believe personally, Kobe had that. I don't think LeBron James ever had that. I just don't. I haven't witnessed it. See, again, this is opinion. But for me, what I witnessed, and LeBron was a guy that's always, for the most part, for the majority of his life, playing basketball up until probably the NBA, LeBron was bigger than everybody else. See, most of the people that are LeBron fans, most of the people that like LeBron, they're people that like everything put in place. Everything has to be a certain way. See, I'm not one of those people. I'm one of those people that, man, against the odds, when you place things and, when you have to supplement or when you have to put this in place to make this happen, when these things have to, and against all odds, man, you make it happen. That's the type of individual I am. I'm just not one of those people that votes for the person that just, based on physicality, man, they have what it takes to dominate, man. I like the guy who might be missing a little bit of this and missing a little bit of that, but they overcome it and they're the best player on the floor. They're the best man for the job without those things. See, most of the people that I find that are, these LeBron people that he used to go, these are people that like everything in place, man. This guy has always been the biggest guy. If you take a guy that big that can dribble the ball and run over everybody, of course, man, he's going to dominate. See, Michael Jordan was finesseful, man. Smooth. At his size, he dominated, just like LeBron at his size. LeBron takes advantage of the fact that he's bigger. Jordan took advantage of the fact that I'm better. Bigger and better are two different things. See, a lot of these people I'm one of those people that if you take a Corvette and you take a Camaro and both of these cars are stock, fresh out of the factory, right? And of course we know the Corvette has the bigger, faster, stronger. We know it's the bigger, faster, stronger vehicle, right? But here we have the Camaro. And the Camaro wins the race from start to finish. Right? Now, so, you know what the difference is between the Corvette and the Camaro? The Camaro had the better driver. And somehow, that driver that was inside of the Camaro maneuvered and did some things that caused that Camaro somehow to beat the Corvette. The difference were the two different drivers. That's all I'm saying when it comes to heart, man. two different hearts inside the two different individuals. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Listen, here's a guy. See, if you are an individual that's, let's say, roughly 48 years of age, 50 years of age, your 50s, 60s, if you're one of those people and you're walking around saying that LeBron's the GOAT, that blows my mind. Blows my mind. Blows my mind. If you're an individual that knows anything about basketball and you've gotten a chance to watch the Jordan era and the LeBron era, and you're sitting back, and I ain't talking about the highlights. I'm talking about, like, I literally, because see, I basically, for the most part, stopped watching basketball after Kobe. I was pretty much done, because for me, and I'm not saying to anybody don't watch NBA and it's not entertaining. It's not entertaining for me. It's just not that entertaining. And I'm just saying, if you're one of those people that are of that age that had the opportunity to watch these individuals play, and you're sitting back and you're saying that LeBron's the GOAT, that blows my mind. That blows my mind. But at the end of the day, man, opinions are what makes the world go around. The problem with opinions is that everybody wants their opinion to be factual. And the problem, and the truth of the matter is that opinions aren't facts. What I'm telling you today, this is just my opinion. This is just how I feel. Period. But I'm just saying, if you're at a certain age, man, and you watch these individuals play, not watching Jordan highlights, I'm talking about if you're old enough to have watched this guy play basketball on the basketball court, and you've also watched LeBron play, it blows my mind if you think that LeBron. I understand the younger generation, because everything's been watered down with this younger generation. With the electronics, kids don't even go out and play anymore. Like, I come from an era where, man, we went outside. We played in the streets. We played, with no shoes on. We played at the basketball courts. We were active. These kids these days don't even come outside and play. So what their opinion on anything is, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care what they share as far as their opinion. How can you share an opinion and you don't even go outside and play? You sit indoors on a video game all day. We experienced the video game. See, that's the difference between my generation and you and the younger generation, right? We were making the video game. We were outside being the video game. So I understand when these younger people, oh yeah, LeBron's the greatest player and he's this, he's that. But I get it. I get it with this younger generation, because, everything is, you live in this computerized, electronical era where everything is pretty much put in your lap, and it's just a softer generation. You know what I mean? It's just a softer generation. Like, we were outside, man. We would be riding bikes that we built and bust our balls and maybe cry for a minute, go in the house for a second, and and do it all over again, man. I don't think any of these young generation even knows what it is to stump your toe. And stumping your toe is that, let me explain it for the people that's never experienced it, and for the younger generation that's never experienced it. Let me just explain what stomping your toe is. That's like when you're playing kickball. We used to play this game called kickball, where you'd have a pitcher and he'd roll the ball and there'd be a person. It's kind of like baseball without the bat, and your leg is the actual bat. And we're playing kickball, and a lot of times, man, you get a better feeling for the ball or your speed when you played it with no shoes on. And we play this thing on asphalt, man. And there are times when you'd go to either kick the ball and you'd be in the streets, man, and you'd, like, your big toe, you'd rub it against the asphalt, man. And you talking about something that hurts, man. And sometimes the skin would come off your big toe. See, we were active. We did those things when we were growing up. So the opinion of people that don't know what it is to stomp your toe, doesn't know what it is to go outside and get road rash or road burn, or, or almost feel like you broke your ankle at the local basketball court, and you've never played sandlot. You've never played a game called toss up and tackle. For you guys, your opinion your opinion means nothing to me. I'm talking to the people that have been active, that have been active. I'm talking to those folk. So here it is. Here it is, Michael Jordan. Remember when he hit that game-winning shot in Game 6? See, some of this younger generation, unless they Google it or unless they watch some highlights, see, I watched this game live. I got an opportunity. Remember that game-winning, that Game 6 game-winning shot that Michael Jordan took and they won the game, blah, 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 blah. This dude did that in college. I literally watched the game against Georgetown. Yeah, I watched that game. So he didn't come in the league and just start doing those things. This guy did that in college, man. And check this out. Check this out. LeBron doesn't have this on his resume, but Michael Jordan has this on his resume. This dude, North Carolina Tar Heels, guess who's on the team with Michael Jordan? Michael Jordan, now let me just throw this out there. He was a freshman at the time in 1982 when he hit that game-winning shot against Georgetown. But check this out. Do you know, here's younger generation, here's LeBron debate. Do you know James Worthy was on that team? Do you know that Sam Perkins was on that team? Michael Jordan was the freshman and got the green light. They hit that shot. That play was set up. Dude was a freshman. Game-winning shot in college. Was cut off the varsity team in high school. See, this is what I'm talking about, the difference in physicality, the difference in ability, the difference in contribution. See, what my point is this. This guy at his size overcame a lot of things that he had to overcome to do the things physically that he was able to do and accomplish in the sport of basketball. Yes. LeBron has always been the biggest guy. If you were to make a bet when LeBron was at that high school, the Irish, when he was in high school, people they would have put that money on LeBron. He was a sure bet. I'll tell you something. We're talking D1, Division I basketball. This guy's a freshman. Nobody would have put their money on Michael Jordan. Not one person. That's unheard of. The freshman, and you have James Worthy on your team? Come on. Come on. See, the things physically that Michael Jordan accomplished and made it look the way he made it look. We're talking apples and oranges, man. LeBron's a big dude. See, for you guys that love, that's LeBron's the GOAT, LeBron's the GOAT. You guys, you're the guys that like everything put together in a certain way, man. It has to be a certain way in order for you to win. See, I'm one of them guys that I had to fight against all odds even to be where I am today, man. I had to go in there and get it, man. I had to fight against all odds. Now, don't get me wrong. the number one entity that allowed me or that allows me to do what I do is God. Number one. I won't leave him out of the equation because without him, nothing's possible in my life. I'm just speaking for me. But what I'm saying is that I'm one of those individuals that the odds were against me. People that wrote me off. People said, no, man, he's done. He's toast. It's over. There are a lot of people on Facebook right now that are highly upset at what God has done in my life. A gang of people, a bunch of people that were, they called me in the streets. They called me Johnny Boy. People that were Johnny Boy cheerleaders, man. At least they appeared to be when I was out there in the streets, man. They came across as my best friends. Yeah, I'm down with Johnny Boy. Yeah, bro, you want to go to this party? We're going to do this celebration. We're going to do all these things, this, that, and the other. But let me tell you something. When God came into my life, man, and rescued me from destruction, some of them same people don't even talk to me or speak to me or tag me on anything. I'm good with it because all it lets me know is that all it shows me is who you really truly were and who you truly are. So I'm one of those guys that had to scratch, bite, and crawl through the grace of God to get the things that I've accomplished thus far, because it ain't over. So if they're mad now, man, they might as well go on and get their popcorn and get their mad hat on because they ain't seen nothing yet. This is only the beginning. So, and I mentioned that because that's my attraction to the game of basketball when it comes to Michael Jordan. Because I look at the physicality and his dominance and what the drive that he had to be successful in the game of basketball based on his physical attributes were way different than LeBron James, man. LeBron, if you are that big and you can dribble the ball, you can play point. The guy can literally play point guard. He could play shooting guard, he could play power forward, he could play forward, he could play center. This guy could literally do it all. But what my point is that if you're that big, bro, and you didn't dominate, bro, man, listen, bro, you would be a bust. But what I can tell you is that I firmly believe that if you had Michael Jordan's heart inside of LeBron James, we'd be talking about a totally different player, man. Totally different player. If LeBron had Michael Jordan's heart, the problem is that he didn't have, he doesn't. He wasn't blessed with that killer instinct. Kobe had it. Kobe was nasty. Listen, in my opinion, LeBron does not match up to those two individuals, man. When I was sitting home and I was watching a NBA basketball game on TV and I saw those guys, man, listen, the one thing I did know, regardless of what the game was, who they were playing, one thing I did know, if it were Kobe or if it were Jordan, the one thing I did know is that they were going to give it everything they had within them to try and win the game. If I were a betting man, I would have put my money on those two individuals because I know I'm going to get my money's worth, and my chances of flipping my money were a hell of a lot better with those two individuals, not with some guy you're going to touch him on the shoulders and he's going to flop like somebody just foul, like it was a flagrant foul. Like it was a fragrant foul. No, man. Listen, these guys seem like they got better. The more you foul, these guys seem like they got better, man. In my opinion, it's not even close. It's not even close. People bring up the numbers. Okay, LeBron has played so many years and he's done this, and look at the numbers. Listen, what Kobe and what Jordan accomplished in the amount of years that they played, right, speaks for itself. Speaks for itself. Speaks for itself. I personally believe when Jordan retired, I believe he could have continued playing and padding some numbers, padded some numbers. I believe that. So I'm not basing this based on, has nothing to do with numbers when it comes to, my debate. You know what I mean? My debate is solely based on athleticism, physicality, the makeup of the individuals. I could care less about the numbers. What I can tell you is that when I sat back and watched the game of basketball and an individual that had the ball in their hand, that had that dagger, that had that killer instinct, that had that murder mentality, what I'm telling you is that, man, when I watched Kobe and when I watched Jordan, what I did know is, man, if they got the ball in their hands at the end of the game, man, if they had the ball at the end of the game in their hands, I sat back and I said, you know what? There's a chance, man. There's a chance. I put my money on them having the ball in their hands at the end of the game any day. That's just me. You know, again, I am not here to change anybody's mind about who's the GOAT and who's not the GOAT. This is totally opinion. This is how I feel. You know, this is how I feel. You know, my buddy Rally for show, he's always, you know, with the LeBron thing. I don't have beef with this guy because he likes LeBron. See, that's the problem with opinions, right? Do you know people literally are angry with other people based on their opinion? I mean, I've seen it in the elections, man. People that were so-called friends. Oh, you're voting for that guy. You're a piece of crap. I'll never be your friend again. You know, I've seen people with the LeBron Jordan debate, man, literally. And these guys have been friends since they were snotty nose, man. Sucking Capri Suns and eating cheese sandwiches in the lunch cafeteria, man. And here it is. Adulthood, these guys aren't speaking because of two billionaires that are making a lot of money, man, that have made a lot of money and still making a lot of money, man. See, the last time I checked, Jordan, LeBron, and none of those other millionaires have sent me a check to my mail saying that, hey, man, I want you to argue this point for me. It's entertainment. I'm just saying from an entertainment standpoint, you know, I'm just speaking as far as who I think, you know, was a better player. But I'll say it. I said it before in the beginning of the live, and I'll say it again. Personally, these two brothers are great players. You know, in their respective eras, man. LeBron did a lot for the game, you know, of basketball, man. I enjoyed watching him come from his high school days into the pros. I enjoyed it, man. And there was a time, especially in the earlier years, I enjoyed watching LeBron. I just think that the NBA has evolved into something that's kind of WWE-ish in a sense, that for me makes it a little less entertaining. But as far as in the early days, I loved watching LeBron, man. I'm just saying that these guys are great, were great players, man. Both of these guys were great players. But I'm just saying personally, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as me and my house, I feel like I had never seen anything like Michael Jordan in my years of watching basketball, watching the NBA. You know, and let me tell you something, guys. You know, and I still have the same respect that I've always had for Julius Erving, you know, Clyde the Glide Drexler, you know, and at that point, I was a Sixers fan when Julius Erving played basketball. And man, at that time, I was like, wow, I was blown away, man, to see some of those shots and some of those moves, man. I was blown away. I was like, oh my God, that's spectacular. And then here it comes, Michael Jeffrey Jordan, man. And it was like, oh my God, now he's the hot sauce on the chicken. Yeah, the chicken's good, man. The chicken has good flavor. It's good. But, man, you give me some Crystal hot sauce, man. Oh, my God, I'm in heaven with this chicken. You know, Michael Jordan was the hot sauce on the chicken, man. You know, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I love Dr. J, man. Julius Irvin, I loved him. And I still love him. I still think that he's, one of the greatest players that ever played. I still feel like, I still feel as though Julius Irvin is one of the greatest players that ever played. I still feel like Magic Johnson. I've seen him ball out, and I'm old enough to have watched him play. Still think that he's one of the greatest point guards that ever played the game. His ability to get other players involved, man, some of those no-look passes, man, were spectacular. Some of those alley-oops, man. For me, that's when the game was exciting. The closest thing I've seen to some excitement for me as far as the NBA, because again, I don't watch it a lot anymore because it's not as entertaining, but I'm just being real. One of today's NBA players that I've seen, that reminds me of a little bit of Magic, how he can get everybody involved, and this is just my opinion again, is LaMelo Ball, man. I've seen this guy's entertaining, man. He's a bad man. He's a bad man on that basketball court, and he's in this era, and that's just my opinion. But back to the LeBron Jordan debate, man, I'm just saying, based on for pound, physicality, the physical makeup of two individuals, I personally don't think it's even a comparison, man. I just, I don't. I don't. You're taking a guy that's, LeBron size, what, 6'8", 6'9", something like that, 250 plus pounds, man, that can dribble the ball. If he doesn't dominate, man, he's a scrub, man. He's a scrub, man. Listen, there has been plenty of NBA players that has the physical makeup of a Michael Jordan that were bust, or that was just average, or that just didn't make it, man. But there aren't too many players that have come into the NBA that has the size and the dribbling ability of LeBron James that were just a bust. Because if you're a guy and you're that big and you can handle the ball just as good as a point guard, and you're that big, you're going to fit somewhere in the NBA. You should be able to accomplish some things in the NBA, man. Because first of all, if you're the point guard on the floor, the point guard kind of equates to a quarterback on a football team. So if you're running the show and if you're running the plays, man, that means that the ball's in your hand and you have the ability to make decisions based on your physicality. That first of all, with most nights, it's not going to be an even match. Nobody's going to match up well. See, that's the thing with people. That's the thing that people don't understand, what the difference is, right? When it comes to Kobe and when it comes to Michael Jordan, right? See, it wasn't a mismatch when it comes to physical. That these guys there were plenty of guys that were his size that played the same position that matched up physically, the same as these guys. See, the difference is that there's who physically is going to match up with LeBron if he's playing point. Who physically is going to match up with LeBron James if LeBron James is playing point guard tonight? See, my point is that when you talk about Jordan and when you talk about Kobe, these guys with their physical makeup dominated, man. I don't care if you were pound for pound, size, whatever the case may be, man. Listen, at the end of the night, what you did find out was that it is a mismatch. It's a mismatch. Yes, that's what you found out. It's a mismatch, man. You found that out once you played against these guys, because these guys had killer instinct, man. These guys were out to destroy. It wasn't no, let's shake hands. Hey, you're cool. You're my buddy. Let's hang out. Let's do this. Let's do that. It was never any of that with Kobe or Michael Jordan. Ever. They looked at the guy standing on the other side of the court as this dude is my end. I came to destroy. I came to make his mama regret that I even ever birthed this dude. That was their mentality when they were on that court. Maybe off the court, we can play some golf or we could do some things, from time to time. But when we're on this court, man, I am going to make your mama regret that she birthed you out of the birth canal, that you came from her womb. When I get done with you, that's the attitude that these guys had. Total difference. Total difference. And I'm just saying that's what my GOAT debate is. My GOAT debate is, I know people are going to yell out numbers and yell out time in the league and this, that, and the other. But that's the reason why Michael Jordan is my GOAT. I know people don't like him personally. I don't watch sports to like a person personally. I watch it for what they were supposed to be doing, which is entertaining me. What they do off the court and who they are, man. Hey, man, some people don't have good personalities or good character. I don't know any of these guys, truthfully, off the court. But what I'm concerned with is when they step on the court, what level of entertainment are they going to provide for me that particular day or that particular night? That's all I'm concerned about. And when it comes to the GOAT debate, my debate, that's why Michael Jordan is my GOAT. And that's why Kobe is number 2 to me. And that's just how it is. That's how it's going to be. LeBron's a great player. I even own a few pair of his sneakers. I like LeBron as a player. I think he's a good player. I think he's a great player. But I just think that when people with the debate thing and the comparisons, man, I just think that, a lot of people, first of all, never played basketball. That's in the conversation. And then you got the generation that never played outside, that never played any sports outside. They've always played, the video games, sitting in the house all day, with the tricks of the controller and flipping and switching up the video game to make it greater or worse or better or whatever they do. I don't know what these young kids are doing with these video games, but I'm just saying that a lot of these people are the people that are in the LeBron Jordan debate, right? And for me personally, your opinion doesn't mean much to me. The people that I feel like really, truly know basketball, it's a no-brainer, man. People that truly seen Kobe play, Kobe was a nasty beat. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant, man. When Kobe died, man, and he was out of the league, man, I'm just saying, for me, basketball, the NBA I was done. It was over for me, man. Because this, what they have going on now, that's not entertaining. I love when we had Shaq, when we had these big guys in the paint, man, when they weren't calling all these 3 seconds and all these, all this touchy-feely calls and all this crap that's going on now, and guys were shooting from the other end of the basketball court, and that was the excitement of the game. See, I watched in the era where, man, listen, man, you had some guys that were so big that come through that lane and dunk that ball in with 3 or 4 guys, and some of those calls in today's game would be flagrant fouls. Yeah, would be flagrant fouls. Some of these fouls that are going on, like that used to go on back then, as soft as this NBA is, those would be flagrant fouls, man. But I missed that era when the guys would come down the lane, man, and there'd be 3 or 4 guys on them, but they were so big, they dunked that ball in the rim, man, and nobody could stop them. They were dominant, man. I miss the days where you passed that thing in the paint, man. Let's get the money. Let's get that money, man. See, I miss them days of the NBA, man. That's why the NBA for me isn't as exciting as it was, man, because, you had a game plan, man. It wasn't, okay, the 7-footers all the way down to the 6'2" guys are going to all shoot threes. No, man. That's boring, man. I miss them days when you could pass that rock down in the paint, man, and the joker just would come out of nowhere and just slam on everybody, and you foul them and hike them up. Now, in my era, most of those guys were good free throw shooters, of course, but yeah, you back then you used to hike a joker up. We call and let me just explain what hacking is, right? Because a lot of people they don't know what hacking is, but back in my era, man, back in the days when I used to really love basketball, you used to hack people up, man. That's why most of these guys that are playing in today's game that cry every day, all they do is cry and whine. They couldn't make it in that era of basketball, man. But it'd be an easier transition for those old players to transition into what today's game is, because, although some of those guys weren't as great of three-point shooters as some of the guys today, but overall, the game itself, the majority of the players that played back in the day could easily play in the game of basketball today, man. Could play this new NBA game of basketball, man. More so than this new era of NBA basketball players going back to have to play in their era. Because let me tell you something, man. You had to be tough, boy. You had to be tough. Man, listen, anybody that played basketball on any level, a good friend of mine, Dwight Westbrook, he's in this live and he'll tell you himself. Anybody that played in that era of basketball, man, it was almost sometimes like you played in a football game, man. When the game was over, man, you were sore like, God dang, yeah. These days, these guys don't get touched, man. They sitting out there shooting all these three-pointers, and the game has rotated to evolve around that's the significance and the importance of the game is who's going to shoot the three. That's not as entertaining for me. But anyway, that's my take on the LeBron Jordan debate. I hope that you guys found it fun. I appreciate you guys tuning in to JW Live. And until we talk again, man, I love you guys. Peace.